Do you know ball?
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 Do you know ball episode 39, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to your favorite podcast on the interwebs. We're going to jump right into it. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of old news that we did not cover, so we're gonna get this pod out for you as quickly as we can. Some old news, some new news. Let's start with some new news first. Let's talk about Juan Soto. There are currently new updates in the Juan Soto free agency saga, and here are the details. Jack Curry, the Yankees' main reporter, came out today, came on the Nest. Sorry, Jack Curry came on the Yes Network today and pretty much gave some good insight onto where the Yankees' position lies in terms of the Juan Soto race. Simply put it, the Yankees feel like they are in a very good position to land Juan Soto. They said that, they've let him know that they want to bring him back. They're comfortable giving him the contract that he wants. They want to bring him back. And I think this is a very good sign. There have been previous reports that said from Randy Miller that the Yankees won't go over 550, that they would cap out at that. Jack Curry essentially kind of squashed those rumors. He's pretty confident that the contract will go over Shohei's present day value, which is somewhere near, like, what was it? It was like 40 million a year, 400 million a year. I don't know how Otani's contract situation works. There's, the deferral, then there's the real contract, then there's the present day contract. I just know it's going to be more than Otani's present day contract. And Curry said, and he was alluding to the fact that the Yankees would be comfortable going to 600. They know that they need to get him back. And he didn't talk about anything with the payroll in regards to Soto, which means that Hal is going to spend what he needs to bring him back. So I'm very happy as a Yankee fan. I think this is great news. Soto and the Yankees, they have discussed numbers already. They've exchanged several contracts. Of course, it is a negotiation, so it is not going to be a very simple process, especially when you have other teams like the Blue Jays, Mets, Red Sox, maybe Dodgers are in the mix, throwing these huge contracts at him as well. So Soto is gonna, see which offer really suits him best. And obviously, when you have the demon himself, Scott Boras, breathing down your neck, it's gonna be a fun free agency. He's probably gonna get one of the biggest contracts in all of sports history. We're gonna find out. Zach, if you want to add anything, because I'm gonna pull up some tweets while you talk.
Go
You can
go
give your
ahead. Yeah,
insight.
pull up some tweets. I think this is a good positive sign for the Yankees, like you said. And they're gonna have to go to that 600 mark, maybe more than that, because I predict his contract is probably gonna be in the 650, 660 range, 100%, and that's without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
But there's obviously just the other teams that are involved too. I think personally, I've said this to you multiple times off podcasts, and I firmly believe it now. I think the three team, it's just really down to three teams with Soto. I think it's down to honestly both New York teams, the Mets and the Yankees, and then the Red Sox. Those are the top three landing spots that I think he could potentially go to. I don't really see any other team. I highly no matter, we're gonna get into some Dodger talk later on this podcast, but I highly doubt the Dodgers are any threat really for Soto. Like there's no possible way, and we'll get into it more as the pod goes on. But besides that, I really think it's down to three teams. Like I said, a sneaky bidder, maybe the Blue Jays. They're put their names in the mix. Maybe the Rays, but like, what do they really have to offer? Which is why I think it's really truly down to these three teams. I
Hmm.
think Red Sox, Yankees, Mets, and yeah, that's it. Red Sox, Yankees, and Mets. Um, just obviously, the main reasons. Obviously, Yankees. He built a rapport with the Yankees. He would love to come back. I know he enjoyed every second of being a Yankee. Mets, obviously, I mean, they got a bright future ahead. On to tell you honest truth, I'm really happy where the Mets are at currently. I'm happy who's in charge. And I like to see everything that they do.
Yeah.
Um, and Steve Cohen is money bags, like we've stated many times. But not to really get into them. A real threat to Soto though is obviously the Red Sox. There's been some swaying by David Ortiz to try to get him to sign with the Red Sox. Also, the Red Sox have I think six or seven top 100 prospects, which is something he's heavily considering because this next contract is going to be his end all be all. Like this is the team he's pretty much going to be with until he retires. So he's putting a lot of thought into it. All three are really good options. But you know he may honestly go back to the Yankees. I think I my opinion hasn't really changed. I do think the Mets pose a serious threat to him, but I just some tells me in my gut that he's just gonna re-sign with the Yankees. And if he doesn't, to each his own. Like it is what it is. But like my gut's telling me that he's gonna re-sign with the Yankees.
Smart.
What do you mean smart?
I'm just no, I just that's a smart thing you said.
Yeah. Just with everything that's going on, but the Yankees have to be willing to go to that price.
And
Like,
that's why I'm going to read tweets.
okay, go ahead.
So everything I said, I found the tweets. There were just so many. I'm going to go down in order. Jack Curry on Soto. Several productive conversations, exchanged figures in the 600 million range. Yankees are comfortable with the dialogue. When you are going to swim, you know the cost. Um, Jack Curry said that they are very positive. They're going to bring him back, and he mentions Otani's number. He expects a higher AAV and maybe over 700 million. So if that's the case, he says that it seems that the Yankees are comfortable with those numbers, and he thinks that a deal is going to get done within 7 to 10 days. So the end of the Juan Soto saga could be coming up, and more on the Yankees. He also mentioned if they get Soto, the Yankees might have a little leeway. That they have Caleb Durbin, who is a guy in their minor league system, Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, Austin Wells to save money, and he doesn't think the Yankees are going to sign Soto, and then like three more free agents on top of it. Didn't really go into detail how much more money they would spend after Soto, but it is clear as day that their main target is going to be Juan Soto. So hearing all this, especially from Jack Curry, who is essentially the Jeff Passan of the New York Yankees, like he's the guy you want to hear from when it comes to Yankee news. He's the guy that you can rely on, that his news is not cap. That's some good signs in Yankee land. But I do want to end this segment um not on a Juan Soto, but more Yankee news because I'm going to go into another Yankee thing. It's not big enough to receive its own segment, but the Yankees have no plans on pursuing Anthony Rizzo and Gleyber Torres, which means that they are both likely to end up with a different team. I think that was kind of well known for the most part, so I'm not going to really touch into that. Anthony Rizzo probably might be done. Gleyber Torres still has a lot of life left in him. Do I agree with the decision? No, I don't. But they're gonna move on, save some money, and that's why they're gonna give Caleb Durbin every chance that they can to earn that second base slot. And I think he could win it. We'll see. But I'm gonna go to the next Yankee topic, if you don't if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I don't mind because I've actually done some little research on this guy, and
Actually, why?
I've liked this guy for a while now, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's going on with his team. But go ahead, introduce the topic.
You like this player?
I do.
It's
I do.
interesting. I like this
Go ahead.
player.
Go ahead, introduce it.
All right. The Yankees are looking at Cody Bellinger as a potential target. Whether he plays first base or outfield, who cares? Cody Bellinger would slot perfectly right in Yankee Stadium. He would fit perfectly in that lineup as a power lefty with a great glove. Now, Jack Curry, again, everyone's best friend, came on to the Yes Network, the hot stove, and talked about it. He was so excited. Like he jumped at the opportunity to talk about Cody Bellinger. Like he was like eager to talk about him. And that is a great sign because if you are a Cody Bellinger supporter, then that means Cody Bellinger could be on his way to the Bronx sooner rather than later. It really appears from what Jack Curry was saying that the Yankees have been wanting Cody Bellinger for a long time. It's been known. They've been trying to target him for a while. They tried targeting him last season. They've been trying to get him for a minute. And now that it seems that his value is at an all-time low, the Yankees can finally make a push for him from the Cubs. The Cubs are truthfully just trying to shed off some money by trading Bellinger, so I'm sure that they'll take whatever they can. I've seen some rumored people say that maybe the Yankees can do a swap of Stroman and Bellinger. And that might sound really weird, but if you think about it, the Cubs are really just trying to shed money. And by doing that, they do shed money. Stroman has a vesting option on his deal, which means if he pitches a certain amount of innings, he can opt into his the next year on his deal. Simply, all the Cubs have to do is just not play him a certain amount of innings. Once he's about to reach that part of his contract, you can just sit him and just make sure he doesn't pitch. And boom, there you go. You shed like $18 million off your payroll right there. Um, so Yankees would love to have Cody Bellinger. I would like to have Cody Bellinger. He's not the MVP Cody Bellinger that we all know and we love from his Dodgers days, but it's still Cody Bellinger. He's still a great bat, and I think he would help the Yankees lineup perfectly. Whether he is in left field to replace Verdugo or be the new first baseman for the foreseeable future, I think Bellinger would be a great fit. And then to top it off, Curry also mentioned that they are not looking at Nolan Arenado. It was rumored, but he doesn't think that they go down that path. I think that Cody Bellinger honestly will end up a Yankee. I've just never seen Jack Curry so eager and so giddy to talk about a player like that. Like he jumped at the opportunity. So they like him. The question is, why not just get him now if he's cheap and you know that the Cubs want to get rid of him? So I just think it's a matter of when, not if, the Yankees will get Cody Bellinger. That's my take.
Yeah, I can't say I'm shocked because of the road or what was said at the deadline last year and what they already started to do or what Chicago already started to do in the rebuilding process or getting rid of some of the guys that they've had for a while. One of the guys was obviously Christopher Morel, which is just kind of it's shocking to me that they would start pretty much over after pretty much one. I mean, I guess they didn't really make the. No, never mind. Um, it's just shocking to me that they would start over because also Cody Bellinger, if you remember, just an off season ago, signed with the Cubs, 3 years, 80 mil, 2024 off season
Mm-hmm.
last year. So the fact that they're already trying to get rid of him after year one after that re-signing it's honestly just mind-boggling. Like I don't understand
Just money. It's
why.
just money. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, but like he's such a key piece, and although he didn't have a great year last year, he didn't have a bad year by any means. It's obviously like you said, it's not MVP numbers, but like like it wasn't a bad season overall. Like he's still a premier bat to have in your lineup. So just to see them kind of just throwing his name out there, and even just seeing the tweet of him being on the market for trade is just crazy. But yeah, I do agree. I thought as soon as I saw that, I thought the Yankees were obviously the favorite. As much as it may pain me to say, I thought they were the favorite.
Hater.
They weren't getting Rizzo back, and they could slot him either in the outfield or at first base. I think they're probably gonna slide him at first base. I mean, why not?
I
Um,
think so. Yeah.
yeah. So, truthfully, I do believe that Yankees could get him. Will they? I don't know, but I do believe they are the favorites for Bellinger, and I'm not shocked about Arenado not going that route either because it's Arenado. You're gonna have to give up a lot, and I don't know if the
Hmm.
Yankees really want to do that
Yeah.
right now.
And another thing is, it was also rumored that they could get Nico Horner in the trade as well if the Cubs really want to ship him off too.
That would be a deal.
Maybe
That would
he's
be a
the
deal.
second baseman. Who knows? That would be cool. But what worries me with Bellinger is he does have an opt out. If he has a good year, he can opt out, and then the Yankees fall into the hole again of trying to find a first baseman because
Yeah.
then you have good first baseman this offseason. Obviously, Bellinger's available. You have Pete Alonso, Christian Walker. Would it just be worth it to just go sign one of those guys so you have him long term and you don't have to worry about constantly, trying to find permanent spots in your lineup? Or do you take the risk? You take Bellinger for this 1 year, see if he opts in, then he's back next year. If he opts out, then you have to worry about restructuring another long-term contract for him. So it's definitely something that Cashman and the Yankees are going to think about. And, they
Mm.
love to think. That's all they do. So they're gonna think about that in terms of trading for Cody Bellinger. And maybe we'll see if Nico Horner is a Yankee too in that. That would be a fun signing or a fun addition to the trade, I should say. But no
It will be.
speculation.
It will be. That'd be a move for the Yankees. It really would.
That would shape the whole lineup.
But again, like you just said, just to touch a little bit on that, I would have said my first thought process would be if you get him, try to extend him longer term during the season, but
They
that's
could.
not happening. That's not going to happen because Scott
Scott
Boras,
Boras.
you know that there's been rumors about that, especially with Pete Alonso, who's one of the latest Scott Boras clients, about how the Mets are going to extend him during the middle of the season, and it just never happened because Scott Boras is his manager. Or yeah, so like it's just it's just gonna be difficult, and I see where you're coming from, but we can move on to crazier worlds. Honestly, um, we're gonna go into some Dodger talk right now,
Okay.
and the first of two segments of Dodger talk is Blake Snell just signed a deal with the Dodgers. It's 5 years, $182 million, and on top of that, his contract in his contract he got a $52 million signing bonus, and $13 million were deferred over the 5 years. So it's it's truthfully a crazy deal. I remember where I was. I don't know where you were when that deal went through.
I remember.
I was laying down on my bed. I wasn't thinking anything of it. My dad came in my room and he's like, Blake Snell's a Dodger, and I was like, what? I was like, you got to be kidding me. And you know what? I thought that them sign. I was like, okay, they signed Blake Snell. Maybe that'll take them out of the running for like Roki Sasaki. No, they're very much so in on all the pitching, all the
Yeah.
pitching free agents, all of them, all of them. They're in on all of them, and it's just crazy because they keep doing it, and which leads me to down a route. Now, I don't want to mention this twice because obviously, like I said, there's two different things that the Dodgers did that is just wild. But it just leads me to saying the Dodgers, there has to be some sort of rule put down. I don't know if you agree with me, Matt, or not, but there has to be a rule placed on deferring contracts because I'm over it. I read multiple websites, multiple articles that said the Dodgers are nearing $1 billion in deferred money. $1 billion.
Sounds about
That
right.
that can't be allowed. You have one of the best. You have the oh my God. You have the NL MVP making $2 million in a like so. It's just there's has to be a rule placed down. I don't think MLB really has a choice. Otherwise, this is just gonna keep happening year in and year out. And you know what? I don't know how many more deferred contracts the Dodgers got up their sleeves, but God, I hope it's not more, much more. I mean,
Juan Soto.
yeah. If they add Soto, I'm over it. I'm really over it because that could nearing $2 billion, and that's crazy. But just touching back on Snell, that rotation is pretty disgusting. Adding Snell into the mix, I think Snell is fed up with trying to make a team great. I think he wants to be on a great team. Um, and that's probably why he went with the Dodgers. He wants his ring. He wants to go to the World Series. He wants to be a part of a team that makes it to the playoffs year in and year out. And that's exactly what the Dodgers are. They are that playoff team. They just won the World Series. There's many more to come. I think, but this is just a crazy deal. It's a crazy deal. Deej, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I couldn't believe it. He's close to his home state of Washington, signing with LA. I think a lot of stars are going to be more willing to defer money and get more money in the future as opposed to now if it means they get to play on a winning team. And unfortunately, the Dodgers have that formula on lock. And it's like the Braves with their devil magic. The Braves always get people to sign under their worth, under their market value. And now the Dodgers have found their devil magic in getting these star players to sign for these crazy deferred deals. So I am surprised he chose the Dodgers because I feel like there was a lot of smoke for him to go to the Red Sox. And now I guess that just opens the door for the Red Sox to get like Max Fried because they want a lefty starter. So I think Max Fried could be a Red Sox now. So it changes a lot of things. But the whole changing the rule thing, if it was obviously one of the Yankees or Mets that was doing this, we would be so hyped. So I don't really know if they can restructure it. I'm sure that next time I know it's like every couple of years where like the Players Association and the league like meets up and they discuss rule changes to like free agency and like the league stuff. So next time that happens, I think in a couple of years, it'll definitely be addressed. I'm sure the owners are going to bring it up and be like, mention it. I'm sure the players are gonna say something, so we'll have to wait a couple years to see where this stands. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I
It's
don't like it.
annoying.
I don't like
They
it
get
either.
everyone. They get everyone.
They truthfully do. They've been doing this for the past couple years. You know that Teoscar is going to re-sign with them. How long that is, and if it's another deferred contract, we will have to wait and see. But I'm sure it will be because I mean they did it last year. It was defer. It was a deferred contract, and it was only a 1 year deal. They deferred a 1 year deal. So, I mean, this is just, it's getting a little out of hand. And I guess I see your point where you're saying if it was the Mets or if it was the Yankees, we'd be a little more biased. But, like, when is enough enough? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're nearing $1 billion now. It's getting much. If it was a few contracts, like obviously with Otani, I get that, but like it seems to me like every deal they're making, it's always something is always deferred in it, which honestly leads us to the next player that they re-signed, and that next player is Tommy Edman on a crazy deal. You could argue he's underpaid. He's very much so underpaid after the performance he put up, after how valuable a piece he was in their World Series run and their championship, and LCS MVP too. Um, 5 years, $74 million contract, a sixth year club option, and there's a $17 million signing bonus, and again deferred money included. So here we are. I don't know, Matt. I don't know if you could do the math. Really, I can't really do the math on spot. 5 years, 74. I don't know. I don't know what that comes out to. Um,
14.8.
that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous for a guy like Tommy Edman. I mean, granted, he's had his injuries in the past, but he's really a good, versatile player. Like he could really
Yeah.
truly play anywhere, outfield, infield. It doesn't matter. He DH for all he cares. Whenever the opportunity is available. If Otani gets hurt, God forbid, anywhere he could play anywhere, and it's just $14 million a year. That's what he settled for. I feel like he could be making so much more. Am I wrong? Like,
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And it just goes once again to the what I said that people are willing to take less money so they can play for the Dodgers. You know what I mean?
yeah, again, this is just a another person like Snell who wants. I mean, he just saw it. It just happened. He just won a ring, but he wants more. He wants to be in that atmosphere again. He thrived in it. I looked at this guy in the postseason, and I'm
Hmm.
like, every
He's
pitch,
Barry Bonds.
every pitch. No, but it wasn't even like that. Like he's not trying. And that's what makes him so great too as a hitter. He doesn't try to hit the home run. The home run ball comes to him. So He'll just put a good swing on it, and if it goes out, it goes out.
Yep.
But he mainly is a singles, doubles, even maybe triples kind of guy. Like he puts the ball in play, and he's a terrific fielder too. Terrific fielder. So again, this is a steal of a re-signing by the Dodgers because you look at some of the contracts too on the Dodgers, and you think this guy deserves a lot more money than he's getting. But you know what? This is what he wants. He wants to be a part of winning baseball for the next coming years, and you know
Gonna
the
pay a price. Yeah.
Dodgers are definitely going to be at the bare minimum in the playoffs almost every single year for the foreseeable future. Um, and you got Otani coming back to pitch next year too. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. They got a really gross roster, really talented roster. And Tommy Edman is just another cherry on top of the cake.
Yeah.
It's truthfully just breathtaking. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the Dodgers are ridiculous. I don't know if you want to add any more to the segment.
I mean, obviously NLCS MVP, he's a very solid player, very good all around. He's going to be playing utility for them. To get him for, what was it? I said at least 14 million a year. I know it's deferred, so it's probably going to be a lot less than that. I think 6 million a year I saw on Twitter. Don't fact check me, please. You don't have to do it now. But viewers, let me know. I thought I saw 6 million a year. If that really is the case, that is absolutely insane for a player of Tommy Edmonds' caliber. Truthfully, he's going to be a great addition for the Dodgers. They have a lot of versatility, right? Obviously, Tommy Edman can play wherever you want. Mookie Betts now can play infield. You have Kike, so they have a lot of versatility in that lineup. And on top of that, you got a guy who can play the outfield, who can play DH, and can also throw the ball really good too. I think his name is Shohei Ohtani. He's pretty versatile too. So that team is going to be nasty for years to come as long as everyone stays healthy. Tommy Edman is going to be a great addition, a re-addition, I should say, to this Dodgers lineup. As Zach said, injury history, but that lineup is just insane from top to bottom, regardless. So next topic, man.
Yeah,
Zach's favorite
nothing you can
topic.
do about that. Yeah,
Yankees legend.
Yankees legend? I don't know, but here is my thoughts on this, and I'm just gonna mention the deal and the player, and then I'll give my thoughts on it. Um, the Mets just got Frankie Montas on a 2-year, $34 million deal with an opt out after the first year, so that's obviously 17 mil a year. Um, See, my immediate thoughts on it is it's cool. It's a good signing. But I don't want to put Frankie Montas in a position like Frankie Montas should not be a 1, 2, or 3 guy. If he is, then in my opinion, this deal was bad because he the only thing that really makes this deal good, which I fully believe that the Mets are going to go out and get a bunch more starting pitching. As David Stern said, that's one of their main targets. They're in contacts obviously with guys like Burns. I don't really know if they're going to go that route. Obviously they have heavy interest in Walker Bueller. Um, they also have been the rumors been floating around with Garrett Crochet, a trade with them and the White Sox. And also Luis Robert has been thrown around in the trade. I don't know what they would give up. I don't know how much it's going to cost. I know it's going to cost a lot because that's literally, if you look at it, that's all that's really left on the White Sox. Like that's it. Those two players are the last two good players on that team. So they're going to ask for a pretty penny. Um, so if this is slotting him at a 4 to 5 spot in our rotation, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's another one of those deals that have been made by David Stearns where I was like, okay, I mean that's good. It's not terrible. It's not like the craziest deal on the planet. It's something. And you know what? It also gives both sides kind of like incentive, pretty much. More so for
Mhm.
Frankie to perform and earn his qualifying offer and stuff, and maybe the Mets shoot him a qualifying offer after this season because they really like him and he did a really good job. Maybe he gets more money the next year or two. Um, or simply if he's really bad, you know, that's the end of his run, pretty much as a New York Met. Or he'll opt in. He'll opt in. If he does really bad, he'll opt into his contract. Is what I mean. If he does really bad, he'll opt into his contract. If he does really good, he'll obviously ask for more money, just like Sean Manaea did. You know, Sean Manaea was a 2 year deal with an opt out after the first year, and he did great in the first year as a Met. So obviously he opted out. He wants more money. So we'll see. We'll see how this turns out for the Mets. And again, I like it a lot if Montas is a 4 or 5 guy in a rotation.
Yeah, he will be, I think.
I believe it too. Like I truthfully believe that the Mets are going to get a lot more starting pitching. I believe this was the first of many starting pitching signings. I do again, like I said, I really want Sean Manaea back. If we part ways with Sevy, it'd be sad, but you know what? It's okay. But I think out of the two, Sean Manaea is 100% on my list to add back to our rotation. Um, but yeah, it was a cool move. It was a cool move. It was a little cooler than Jose Siri. Jose Siri was just like,
Oh
okay,
my God.
okay, but yeah, no, it was a cool move.
I
Cool
liked it.
move.
I liked it.
You like it?
Yeah, David Stearns likes to kind of buy low on people. I think the Mets really brought the best out of guys like Sean Manaea this year and Luis Severino. So I don't hate it that they brought Frankie Montes, who obviously has not been great the past couple of years. A little reclamation project. If he's poop, he's poop. It's a low risk, high reward scenario for the Mets. I think he could be very good. Maybe tap back into the Oakland A's Frankie Montas when he was like all-star caliber, the one that the Yankees thought they were getting. I think I do like the signing. I
Yeah,
do like the signing for the Mets because no harm, no foul, right? If it doesn't work out,
exactly,
you
exactly,
can never have enough pitching.
exactly. I just it's a decent deal. And Montes could, I mean, like you just said, I was kind of thinking about it like this, but like I just didn't get to mention it. I do agree. I agree. They brought the best out of Severino had a terrible year prior to this past season. Shaw Mania has been awful pretty much almost his entire career, if you're gonna be completely honest. He's had a rough years bouncing from team to team, from like the Padres and the Giants, and he just couldn't find a good way to pitch. And then all of a sudden he started doing the sidearm stuff, and he kind of became a really good pitcher. So it's just crazy to see how like a transformation he made. Severino had like an 8 ERA with the Yankees the year
Yeah,
before.
he was
He
like
awful,
awful.
tossing saucers down the middle of the plate. Could not find, could not get a strikeout. Could not. He was just terrible. Um, but then they really found their strengths with the Mets, and it was changing scenery for both of them. Obviously New York, we just get behind our guys like all the time, and I did it this year. I always cheer on my guys through thick and thin, and they respond off energy. They really do, because when you're fired up, they get fired up. But yeah, no, I think they could do something special potentially with Montas. Um, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And then this leads us into the last topic of the night, which is also sort of Mets related, only because there was no really other teams that I saw of mentioned in this. But The
My God.
Mets are one of the teams interested in transitioning Clay Holmes into a starter. I just thought this was odd. I feel like we had to put this as a segment as a starter. Isn't
What world are we living in?
isn't this like out of left field to you, Matt?
I okay. I heard these rumors like months ago, like actually like months ago. Um, I think there were interest in him at the deadline. You know, I think teams were actually looking to trade for him at the deadline if they just want to move from him to put him as a starter. And I think the whole reason stems because of his sinker, that he has like such like a good sinker that I don't know all the pitching scouting, you know, analytics. But I heard he has a really good sinker, as he does, that, you know, if you can develop that over like a 9 inning span or 7 inning span, whatever, however many innings he would pitch, it would be like pretty freaking nasty and you'd be a pretty good pitcher. Kind of like how the Yankees did to Mike King. Came out of the bullpen, turned him into a starter. He was nasty because he had his nasty pitches, and teams think that they could do the same with Clay Holmes. And I wouldn't hate it. I mean, as a Yankee, like no, if Clay Holmes is gone, he's gone. I would actually like Clay Holmes back as a reliever, not the closer. I think he was very good as a reliever. He's just not closer material. But if he goes and is a starter for another team, best of luck to him because I think that would be very interesting. I do, and I don't hate the idea after seeing it be done with Mike King. But it is
Yeah,
very weird to actually think about of Clay Holmes of all people,
as a
cardiac Clay.
starter, it's
Yeah.
this is the see like this is why I put it on the dock. It's just because it's weird. Um, I don't think I was expecting it coming into this offseason. And I definitely wasn't expecting the Mets to be one of the teams interested in positioning Clay Holmes as a starter. Um, but again, I honestly think that this is like another David Stearns move where he's going to try to slot him in the back half of the rotation and just see what happens. Like and like maybe this could be like literally a if the Mets get him, it could be like a 1 to 2 year deal, not much money, and just like an experiment that they try.
Hmm.
And you know what? If it doesn't work out, maybe they move him back to the bullpen. They got some like leverage because he's obviously been in the bullpen the past couple of years, and he's had his ups and he's had his downs. I mean, he lost the closing role especially in the playoffs last year, to Luke Weaver. You know, but he had. I remember us talking about Clay Holmes in the beginning of last season, and we were saying you said that he was the one of the best, if not the best closer at the moment in baseball. Because if you remember back in the beginning of the year, I
Well,
don't
at
think he
that
gave
moment, he
at the moment.
was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I'm
He had
just
like a
putting that out
zero
there.
ERA, and he was doing great. Um, where the disconnect happened, I have no idea, but I don't know. It does remind me a lot of Michael King. Um, and I don't know if it's gonna work, but this has experiment written all over it, and you know what? I'm here to watch the chaos. I if the Mets sign him to a cheap deal, similar to honestly what they did with Montas, and they get him for like 2 years and put an opt out after the first, I got no problem with it. I got no problem with it because you got leverage in Clay Holmes. You could slot him back to the bullpen if he's terrible as a starter, or if he's terrific as a starter, you could look like a genius. And that you signed him for
Yeah.
that low amount of money because obviously he's not going for a crazy contract right now because he didn't have too great of a previous season. So if it works out, it works out. But if it doesn't, sayonara. Like it's an experiment that I think it's worth taking a look and maybe even worth trying. But it's just odd. I don't know. I don't know. Something in my heart just I can't really picture Clay Holmes as a starter. But then again, I couldn't a few years ago. I couldn't have pictured Michael King as a starter, and here we are. He's a pretty prominent piece in that Padres rotation.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I mean, times change, things happen, and you know what? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But also, again, just to bring up another example, obviously Luke Weaver on your team, like he was terrible as a starter. He never really found his position, his way in the
Hmm.
MLB until he was moved to that position, and then he found what he was good at. So who knows? Maybe Clay Holmes could be a good starter.
He could be. He very well could be, and I'm excited to see if he will.
I'm excited too. But with that being said, that is the
Closing
end
time.
of episode 39 of the DYKB podcast. Again, appreciate you all for all the love and support on both platforms. YouTube is going crazy right now. We're 5 away from 200. So if you guys can make that happen within the next week or so, that'd be great. Again, we appreciate all the love. But next week, the next episode, Matt, can you believe it? Can you believe we've reached number 40? 40
Yeah,
podcasts in the books.
you're getting LeBron on the next one.
I feel like we got to do something special, but we do have some things in the works for the future. Um, you know, we're gonna have a lot of free time on our hands coming up,
Yeah,
and we're gonna try to get a couple of special guests. So we got some things in the works. But
LeBron
again,
James.
LeBron James. But again, appreciate you guys for all the support, and we'll catch you guys in episode 40 next week.